Namaste and welcome to this 30-minute yin yoga practice. So you can begin on the hands and knees, and we'll take the hands wide and the knees wide. And just begin to make this figure 8 with the body. So you can imagine a pen is on the center of the torso and you're drawing the chest out over one direction across the chest to the other side, and like you're writing the number 8. Moving the hips down over the heels, and you might be allowed to give your body the ease it's craving by dropping the head, relaxing through the jaw, and combining the movement with the breath. So notice as you can sink down, you might release a slightly longer breath out. And allow the body just to marinate in this movement. And then changing direction. As you breathe in and out through the nose, the lips are closed, but there's a light touch between them, keeping that jaw relaxed. And eventually finding your way to center. And you can bring the knees a little closer together now, and then we'll take the right knee up to the front of the mat. Bend into that right leg and roll to the long side of your mat so you can find your half butterfly. So allow the center of that knee to face upward and begin to send some weight forward. You might have a bolster to lean on out the front here. Go on and close down the eyes and find a way to bring a bit more of a bend into the elbows. And as you bend the elbows, you can feel the shoulders rounding and releasing any holding. And that ease can begin to move up along all sides of the neck. Feel the jaw heavy and slack. And the more that you're able to support the torso and the head, the more that you can relax the whole body, even those parts of the body that feel like they may be under a bit of stress right now. Be mindful of finding that same ease throughout the whole body. So you may just notice that you can soften the buttocks and the thighs. Enjoy bringing your body into this position of stillness. Where we know that the mind is also following along. Listen closely to your breath. It's going to give you the guidance that you require through this practice. You can slowly rise up through center and just let everything settle as you return to that more neutral position. We're going to add a side bend to the extended leg. So if you did have a bolster or cushion or rolled up blanket, you could most definitely place that on the leg, either above or below the knee, and rest the elbow down onto that. That can be really beneficial. If you don't have a prop or you don't want to use the prop, that's fine too. So you could lean the elbow down onto the thigh, and as you begin to bend to that extended leg, just continue to feel the torso open, the chest open, so you're not compressing the breath. Perhaps let the head become heavy and feel that gentle stretch through the side of the neck. You may even like to add the top arm to either arc up and over, or you could bring the hands to interlace at the back of the head. If you've got any shoulder issues, you could just wrap that top arm behind you and tuck it into the top of your pants and enjoy this openness through the side of the body. Relaxing the bent leg thigh, that'll be your right leg. And as you relax the thigh and the buttocks, the knee will naturally surrender to gravity. And scan your attention through the extended leg and find that same willingness to release any tension, any muscle activity. Notice the pulsation of the breath through the right side of the body, and notice the skin wanting to stretch a little further and muscles in between the rib cage waking up. You might even turn up the corners of the mouth here to ensure the jaw remains relaxed. The forehead is unwrinkled and soft. And you simply notice that effortless, smooth, relaxed breath. Receiving it like a cool breeze on a hot day. Welcoming it into the body. We're coming all the way back up to center, so you can release that top arm and slowly, particularly if the body has gone quite deep, if you feel like you've really stretched some deeper inner connective tissues, that'll feel sweet coming up. Let everything settle there for a moment, and then we're moving into our sleeping swan. So this right leg stays bent, and you can simply lift up and roll back around to the end of your mat, the short end of your mat, and find the center of that extended leg, the left leg. You could use a prop underneath the bent leg just to help keep the hips level and give you that support to settle into. You could also have the bolster across the mat here to help again keep the body aligned. If you're particularly tight on that right side, you'll find you'll sink over to that side to compensate, but rather than being in a hurry to fold all the way down, just be mindful of what perhaps could settle or shift or alter for you before you lower further, if that even becomes a possibility for you. So why not add a count to your breath now as you inhale for a count of 3 and exhale for a count of 6. And notice how on those longer out breaths, the body is so so happy. Feel so much joy in the body at letting go of all of that habitual holding that's been actually holding you back. We can get comfortable in the discomfort of our body and mind. So through this practice, simply notice that you're paving a new pathway to remembering how good it can feel in your body, in your skin, in your mind. Stay with those breaths just a little longer, and you may have noticed just how easy it is now to let that exhale lengthen out. It's very natural, very relaxing, very calming for the mind. We're going to stay with this right leg bent just a little longer, but you can begin to bring yourself up. Lean over to that right side, just enough that you can bring the left leg in, moving into deer pose here. So you could roll the calf muscle out. And just notice how that feels for you. Perhaps you'd like to explore leaning back a little. I'll show you the bolster option here as well. You could take the bolster across the mat in this way and lean the elbows down. Or you could have it a little longer and direct it out from the left thigh in that same angle. Now, if you're not using any support, then that's nice too. You may find though, as you lower back, that there's a natural tendency to want to lengthen out the lower back. So go on and lift up the hips and lengthen the tailbone down towards the feet or down towards the short end of the mat. And because we're here for some time, you can find a variation that suits you or a deepening option if that becomes available to you. So with these practices of yin, the stillness is where we experience the benefits of the gentle stress on the fascia or connective tissues within the body. So we resolve to remain still, but of course, if you need to change position to move a little deeper or change position because perhaps you've gone too deep too soon. And remember, it's a gentle stress or stretch that you'll be feeling in the body, deeper than the muscular stretch. And it's always the breath that will give you the information you need to know if you've made the right choice or how you're playing your edge safely. So from Wherever you are here in your deer pose or reclined deer, you can slowly, mindfully lift on up and go on and release the legs. You may like to just stretch them out one at a time, or find a child's pose or a rocking hands and knees, or even a gentle down dog, just slowly moving the heels one at a time, or anything that feels good here as we're just wiping the slate clean before we make our way to the second side. So just spend a few more moments with the body, either in stillness or gentle, mindful movement. Not energizing or stimulating the mind too much, just staying in this yin state. And then come on down to the knees and bring the left knee out in front. It's bent, and we'll find our half butterfly. So coming to the long side of the mat and sitting to the front of the sit bones a little. Let's position the extended leg in a way that the knee can be upright. And just notice how that feels for you before you begin to fold forward, if you fold forward at all. You may be able to find a way to soften the fingers a little bit more. And as you soften the fingers, also soften the toes. And you've already seen the power of directing the breath on this first side. And you've no doubt noticed that something is always inevitably going to change for you over that time. So over these 3-minute holds, know that it's inevitable that what you're feeling right now will shift in some way. It may be a grand shift, and it may be more of a subtle shift. But you have committed to focusing more inwardly by taking on this practice of yin, a much more meditative style than the vinyasa. So just at that point when the mind wants to wander and you think, I've got nothing to do, I've got nothing else to think about, move your mind into a different part of the body and notice something new. Keep traveling through the inner landscape with a curious mind. And as you lift on up, that same curiosity hat, place it on as you begin to lean out to the extended leg, either with support under the right arm or elbow. You might explore dropping the right ear to the shoulder and letting the left shoulder move away from the left ear as you experience that natural opening along the neck. It may be adding the left arm up and over and just having that bend through the elbow, arcing it like a rainbow. Or of course, any other arm variation that's going to suit you. Interlacing the fingers at the back of the head can be really nice because you can lean the head into those hands and just a little encouraging that chest upward. Might not turn the head, but you can feel the center of the chest, the heart center, still bright and interested. And I'm sure you're feeling the skin stretching on that left side. And just enjoy that, because you're going to feel so much more energetic when you walk from this practice. You're going to feel the balance of yin and yang energies deep within, balanced, to give you exactly what you need in this day. The mind wanders or gets a little too attached to a thought. You start a story in your mind. Just notice that's happened, and for now, choose to let it go. Stay with just 3 breaths at a time. Inhale 1, exhale 1. Inhale 2, exhale 2. Inhale 3, exhale 3. Begin again. Use your very next in-breath to slowly bring yourself back to a neutral spine, upright. And as you let everything settle here, feel the head resting lightly on the shoulders. And then making your way into your sleeping swan, left leg bent, and finding the center of the right extended leg, and taking, of course, the props that are going to help you feel supported in this asana. Because it's when you do have that support that you can find a way to let everything else go. You no longer have to feel like you're holding everything or balancing. Much like life, we hold up the fort, we balance our focus, our time with ourselves and others. But for now, you can feel the support beneath you, around you, within this time you've created for yourself, with full permission, guilt-free, to just be. The body, the mind, over and over, falling into stillness. You notice the body breathing, all on its own. You simply settle back and enjoy the feeling of your body breathing. As you begin to slowly lift up, you might like to keep the eyes a little downcast or soft, bringing the right knee in, and we're finding deer pose. Either sitting upright, leaning back, using supports if you wish. Just noticing how this feels for you on this side in a very unhurried way to make the choices for your body right now. And depending on how your arms are positioned, you may like to place the hands on the lower belly. And if the hands can't rest on the belly, just bring your attention down into the lower belly, just below the navel, and notice that soft expansion as you breathe in. And the soft contraction, the releasing of the belly down towards the spine as you breathe out. And here you may like to count the inhales to 3 and the exhales to 6. As we're coming to the end of the practice, and for this practice in particular, the last few opportunities to really leave it all here on the mat. All the worries or stresses in your life, that feeling of busyness, the modern life is often much more of the yang energy, so it's so valuable to make a choice to slow down and take these yin practices to enjoy. It's from the stillness of the body that we then find stillness with the breath. And this will be the natural slowing of the breath. And then the longer pauses in between the breaths. And as you let this slow, steady breath become your focus, eventually you feel stillness within the mind, a deep sense of quiet, more space between the thoughts. You may like to just lift on up now and come out of this position, or depending where you are, you could release the right leg and extend both legs out to the far corners of the mat and Keep enjoying this stillness just for another 2 more minutes. And in this way, you'll notice this gentle, warm energy buzzing underneath the skin. You can be guaranteed that you have released any energetic blockages within the body. And I encourage you to continue spending some time moving a little more slowly, a little more gently, a little more mindfully in this day. And just as you were so careful and compassionate in your choices as you moved your body in this yin practice, could you take this same attitude of being a little kinder, a little more considerate of what it is you really need moment by moment? In this way, aligning your inner desires for good health, well-being, to align with your external actions and choices. And I wish you well.